Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Okay.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi.
Did everybody die?
Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong.
Yeah.
Shocked,
Zombies?
frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk.
Wait, sorry. It's just...
And stepped out of his office.
Okay. Hi, son. How are you doing? Everything well? Okay. Okay. Oh god, the sensitivity is awful. Wait, did I do it? Okay. No. Oh, fuck's sake. Click to skip. Okay, good. There we are. Now it's a bit too... Oh, fuck's sake. Wait, it's a bit too much. Okay, that's a little better. It's not good though. Why is it so fucking awful though? Okay. How are you doing, son? I hope you're doing well. Wait, let me just do this really quickly. Okay, there we are. Sorry. I don't like it! Fucking... Ugh. Look at me just putting the sensitivity back on what it was. Can't open it. Okay, hi, friends? Friends?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Did I miss to give it away? You did. I'm sorry, Sanchez, but I think you actually got something, didn't you? Didn't Sanchez get something? Is this the meeting room? Which one is the meeting room? Oh, am I just turning everything off? 420. Oh, you know what this person is up to. Beijinhos, Feliz Berta.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Fuck you! Fuck you, dude! I wanna click on everything I will click on everything if I want to. What is this place? Like there's stuff on the floor.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I think I know this game, but I don't remember it. But I know this. I have not played it, but I know this game.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay. I don't remember, though. I don't remember the game. I don't remember what it is about, but I know this game. I have seen someone play it. Hi.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all.
It has.
Just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
It has, bitch.
Stanley's, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Oh, on his left. What is in there?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
If you are lying right now, stop. Do not lie. Okay. I'm very bad at. Okay, key card. Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion. Penalty for missing of cargo lift, $1,000. Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift, $5,000.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
Yes,
Please,
Simon, you know
stop
it.
trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me.
How about you shut
her.
the fuck up? Her? Who is her? Okay, sir. Her? Who is her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
Who is her?
She's been waiting.
Who is her? You mean my ex? Fuck that bitch. She cheated on me and then took my kids and all my worth, like all my belongings. The divorce was fucking ugly. It was not funny. I don't want her back. My ex. Oh, this doesn't look good. I don't like this. Can I not go in here? It's black.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
I will. Let me pick up the phone. Hello? Bitch?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go.
Can't move.
All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley.
Wow.
I'm trying to get you to see something.
You
Come
are an
inside.
asshole.
Let me show you what's really going on here.
How about no, you fucking asshole? Nobody...
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Okay.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Okay. Okay. Very sad story. Ah, fuck's sake.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow.
I am.
He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Thank you. Please press Q. How about you fuck yourself? How about you go fuck yourself?
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Oh.
Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
I have. I will press fucking 8. I don't
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed
Hey,
of
Cor, how
wild
are you doing?
expeditions
Everything well?
into the unknown. fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
To spend time with the boys. Ugh. Fine, I will spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Oh, you're salty, huh? You're salty I didn't take your door, sir. Okay, prepare dinner.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
To tell your kids a story. Let's go.
It was such a wonderful fantasy. And so in his head, he relived it again. And then again. And again. Over and over. Wishing beyond hope that it would never end. That he might always feel this free.
That is true of Cynthia.
Surely there's an answer down some new path. Mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Play one more time. You want me to restart the game? Is that what you're saying? That's why Noto probably gave it to me. He's like, press W. Okay, listen. I've had it with your shit.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Let's go.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you. I'm just gonna sit here forever. Can I just... Is there a timer? I listen because he's using reverse psychology. I know this. He's using reverse psychology right now. Begin the game again. Let's go. Hi.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
That's what I did. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Yes,
yeah,
this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I will do it.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
No, I kind of like this. What's this? I like this. What, Core?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office.
Yeah.
He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
Yeah.
from here, it's,
No.
oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Troll. How about you go fuck yourself, dude?
Now, let's see. We went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Right, he's gonna close it. Uh-huh. What's this? Hi. Boy, like this. This is scary.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding?
Where am I?
It's all rubbish now.
427,
The whole
there he
story
is.
completely unusable.
Employee
How
fired.
about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
What? You can't do that. Did you just restart the game without me even saying anything?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What the fuck?
When Stanley... Wait, what?
I like
No,
this.
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on.
Corn
I'm
warrior,
asking you.
fight!
I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere.
It's a couple
Okay,
minutes,
then.
I got you.
It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Oh. I like this. Huh. Ooh. Windows. I like this. Hi. Is this a maze? Oh, I hate mazes. I don't like mazes. Don't give me a maze. Okay.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before.
Uh-huh.
Do we need to restart the game again?
No!
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again.
Yeah,
but it's got to be better than this.
No,
Okay,
no.
let's give it a shot.
No!
Why not?
No! Stop it! Let me explore! I'm an explorer! I
All
love
of his co-workers were
exploring!
gone. What could
Fuck
it mean?
you!
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Fuck you!
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed
Okay.
anything?
Okay, did we miss anything? Good night, Frozen. Schlaf gut. Danke, dass du da warst. Can I open anything? I don't think I can open anything, right? Ooh, wait, did I open? No. 420? No. Oh my god, narrator! I'm fucking already...
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
Uh-huh.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace
Game
our
is good for your
steps.
mouthfeel practicing. You know I'm... you mean, warrior, you want me to be one of those sheep? Huh? You want me to be a sheep? Is that what you want? Oh, I like
Now
this.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't
This is
think
the
so.
story, for sure.
I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
Ooh, why
Do you
make me
remember,
question-
Stanley?
Sit.
Well, do you know
You are
what?
cheap, yes.
Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job.
What? No.
Oh, no. No,
I don't want to
don't feel
win.
right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win
didn't.
fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
No, I don't like this.
Okay?
Don't give me a win.
I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is.
Me
I don't
too.
care what might happen this time.
Let's get out
I
of here.
have to restart.
Thank you. Fucking Stanley
All right,
Parable
I've got a
adventure
solution.
line.
This time, to make sure we don't get lost,
Yes!
I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
But he I'm making him question the things, the story.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny.
The destiny?
Here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story?
It is.
Simply by the act of moving forward,
Yes.
are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me.
Okay.
Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang
Yes.
on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now
It's
is a
not
bit
to
of music
restart.
to lighten the mood.
Oh. That is not music to lighten the mood! Stop it! Stop it! Asshole! No! No! Stop it! Go away! This is not good music! Can we stop this? Please? I'll do anything!
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
At that fern? He's gonna play the
Stanley,
music again.
this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
How about fuck you?
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The
Yes.
story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Okay, I know how the story goes. But I like this. Okay, let's go.
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted
us?
you, after everything we've been through...
We haven't been through anything,
I can't
you
take this
asshole.
anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own
I'm
story?
questioning that
Something
for you.
exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh,
Can I get
this all
dragons?
sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Yes. I like this.
Now, yes,
Yeah.
this is exciting.
Yeah.
Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new
Yeah.
story. Well, it could be anything.
This is
What do you want
this
our
is
story to
going in
be?
circles, my friend.
Go wild. Use your imagination.
I want
Whatever it might be,
dragons.
Stanley.
Dragons.
I'm ready for it.
I want dragons.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Oh, can I go up there? Dragons was the wrong answer.
Choice. We get to make a decision.
We?
From here, the story is in our control.
Our?
How important, we mustn't squander the
What do you mean,
opportunity.
we?
In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here.
Nate.
And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly
We're
yes,
going where we're
then
going.
by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley.
There's no logic.
Our destiny awaits.
There's no logic in where we're going. Like, we're going where we're going. We're not going where you say we're going.
Oh, hold up. What's this?
Yeah.
The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game
like this.
eight times? That's really how
After a
all
long
this
time,
goes?
Stanley dies. Okay.
It's all
Board
determined?
and leave. Find a bookstore.
So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget?
This.
My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted
That
me?
voice is another
Why
person.
don't I get to decide? Why don't
No,
I
that's
get a
me,
say in all of
clearly.
this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it.
I will do it. Fuck you, dude.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's
Good
office,
girl.
hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay. Hire someone to... Okay. Who moved my desk? Okay. Is my number here? There's not my number. Employee. Okay. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Okay. Okay. What is this?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Now that you say it, dude. I'll not go down upstairs.
But
Wanted
Stanley
to.
just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He considered
I'm
the
too
possibility
stupid.
of facing his boss.
Yeah.
Admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
Right.
All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Yeah.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
Right.
None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations.
Like?
For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter,
Because it's a
these
game.
rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
They were.
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!"
Hey!
he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
He wasn't.
And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon.
I think you,
I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons.
Fuck you.
I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
You are going crazy,
So,
I think.
he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield.
Yes!
And it too appeared. It was so much fun. And Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner.
What?
Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing
Because
and thinking?
it's a game, I'm not even
Now the
asking
voice was
myself
describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly
Right, Bazzy?
strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts.
that. Bring
he
chocolate.
thought.
Nee.
And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
What?
Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Which is, he
Now,
has
hearing
never
the
been
voice
awake.
speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice
Right.
not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This
Right.
voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want.
No, it's not
I
all
want
I
my
want.
apartment, and my wife,
No.
and my job.
No.
All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
No, we don't want that.
My life is normal.
No.
I am normal.
No.
Everything will be fine.
Stop it.
I am okay.
Okay, can I restart? Ah, for fuck's sake.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Okay.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't.
Right.
It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Why am I? Okay, so that was one ending, I guess. Was that one ending? Did I get an ending? I guess. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Huh.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace? Its subtle charm? No. Stanley knew it was something deeper, something darker.
What was it? What was it? What was it?
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Right.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
What if I jump down here?
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do,
Yes.
Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful. The meeting room.
I love
yes,
that.
that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on,
Got a
he
B+,
would never be
that's
alone
awesome,
ever
Arbor.
again.
Hey, Madara, to the mic. Can I get a shout out for Madara, please?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
That was
Stanley knew
great.
it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
That is super great.
Standing now in this
super great.
incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Noto, how are you doing? Are you doing better?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
E for effort.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can
Is
be
this the
difficult,
last stream?
but
Hey,
the
I'm
fact
Paint, how are you
is that
doing?
the
Everything
story has been about nothing but you all this time.
This is the first
There's
stream
someone
after
you've
the
been
last
neglecting,
stream, and Paint.
Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Oh god, now it's her
This is it,
shit
Stanley.
again. No.
Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
Yeah, whatever.
She's been
She doesn't
waiting.
exist. Yeah, fuck off.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this,
What if I
to
don't
reach
answer
out to
that and
her.
just go here?
If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Mom. Let me out. Let me out! Let me out! Let me out. Let me out. Let me out. Let me out! Let me out! Let me out! Ah! Oh, fine, whatever, blah, blah. Hello, Stanley.
Oh, Stanley, is that you?
Stanley.
Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go.
Let's push all
All
the
right, now,
buttons
I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on.
His laugh, though.
Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside.
Yeah, I'll come
Let me
inside.
show you what's really going on here.
She's naked and ready, she is.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
No. Okay.
This is a very
Wow,
sad
put some
story
clothes
about the
on.
death of a man named Stanley.
Yes.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing
Yeah,
of
the
him.
narrator is
And
pretty
every
great.
button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential
Can
nature
we
of his
fast
existence.
forward this? Oh, obrigada, Warrior, por dar esse sub aí,
Doing
Madara.
exactly
Beijinhos,
what he's
muito
told to
obrigada.
do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Já são 670, meu Deus!
But in his mind, in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Lê o que eu disse, meta aí no chat outra vez, desculpa.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Beijinhos enormes, Madara.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either.
I'll bring you coffee and feed your dogs.
Choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Okay.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations.
Until
Down
I get
one
bored,
path
I
lay
guess.
an enormous round room with
bored.
monitors and mind controls.
Which is
Down another was a yellow line that weaved
desired.
in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy.
it was
And so in his head, he relived it again, and then again, and again,
All these
over and
cuties,
over,
yes.
wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets.
Can you bring me coffee and feed all my dogs?
Which life
I don't have
is
any
the real
dogs,
one.
but just feed me then.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
This is reverse psychology, obviously, but I'm gonna do it.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to
This
kill
is a good
himself?
model for how to do
can I
Chuck
get him to
Tingle the
see what
game.
I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Coffee gelato? Yes. To question nothing. Oh, I don't want to press. No, I don't want to press nothing. To question nothing. Oh, let's just do
I
it.
suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose,
Desculpa,
the same as
Madara.
Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must.
Madara,
Perhaps,
beijinhos.
well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time.
Eu percebo.
And I tried again.
Please die.
And Stanley pushed a
Wow.
button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Wow. Okay. What happens now? 'Cause it's never the end. It's never the end. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
This is different.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, truly, deeply,
Yes.
madly.
I
Love.
this room. I make love to this room.
Yes.
What?
Really, really
Yes.
worth it being here in the
Yeah.
room.
It's really worth
A
it,
room
yeah.
so utterly captivating that even though all
It's
your
amazing.
co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
It's amazing. Look at this. It has like art. It has like stuff. Photography. Hey, what
At
you
this
doing? What are you
point,
doing?
Stanley's obsession with this
My
room
name is
bordered
this
on
room
creepy
now.
and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
Poorly. Okay.
It's possible that
Fucking
this is why
savage.
everyone left.
Because of me. Cold drinks. I want a cold drink. Give me a cold drink.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he
São baixas
decided
torres
that the
vedras.
game was trying to send him a message.
É verdade. I'll just wait here, sir. I'll just sit on the ground and wait here. Para melhorar tudo, para mudanças de casa temos de ir 2 rendas, ótimo, então fazendo contas para sair daqui são 1200 euros. Opa! Eu percebo. O meu padrasto está efetivo no trabalho dele. São 19 finais possíveis afinal. 19 finais! 19 endings. That is fucking crazy. If you're ever lonely and need a strong young man. My mom is with my dad still, but you know. Okay, let's just go. Whatever.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible.
Okay. I'm gonna restart. This is boring.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
A safe space?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok. Faz tudo como ele diz. Já fizemos isso, que ele faz tudo.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yeah.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Okay, wait.
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his
I'm
left.
gonna take this one now.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section,
And now I'm
walked
gonna
straight
go
ahead to the
straight
opposite
ahead.
door, and got back on track.
I like how E is always a... Oh no! No! Oh fuck.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Don't get
Feeling
fired.
a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might
Okay, let's
find
go
an
up
answer
this
there.
time.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
upstairs.
boss's office.
Let's see. Ooh, this is fancy. Executive bathroom? Fucking, is there a person? Ooh, hi. No? Hi.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned
Oh my
to discover
God.
not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk
What is this?
guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him.
Which
And
is?
so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
Okay.
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct
Oi,
code
sim,
by
senhores!
sheer
Vai, prazer, tá
luck.
tudo bem?
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Ei, Lores! Estás a brincar? Caralho. Can I, no. Typical Stanley. No, Stanley's just, you know. This is new. Okay. I'm intrigued. I like this game. It's cool.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape? Oh. I don't know which one. Let's escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent
insanity. Está sempre tudo bem contigo.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Nope.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Yes. Oh my god. Oh god. Did I die? Did Stanley die? No.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture.
Oh, that's not a good way to die.
Trapped forever in his narrow vision
no.
of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
Help!
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
Okay.
In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
No.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oh. So it's just, okay, I got this. Okay. Nature painting. So this is the layout of the office. I get it. Okay. 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 So the office. Great. I like this. This is nice. I like it. Okay. Credits. Oh, you get to see the credits! Office computers. Employee database. Oh, we get to see the credits, guys! This is awesome! Is this a true ending? Is this a true, like the true ending? What is this? The office. Maintenance room. I like this. Ooh. What is this? Point of the Stanley Parable. HD remix is to lose. These are screenshots of the Stanley Parable HD remix. Warzone? Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. Action game would become sentient, would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpret it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. Ay, marafatos bem contigo. That is amazing. Ah, is this the real ending? I'm sure this is the real ending. I love this! The lounge. Estás no museu? Estou sim, senhora, no museu. The apartment timer. In the previous version of the choice leading to the apartment ending, a timer would give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. So, and that's not a thing anymore, right? Okay. Interesting. But that's not a thing anymore, right? Because I waited way more than that. It's all a lie. Zending. Ending levers. Ooh, ending levers? These levers were originally a part of the Zending. Player would pull a lever and the narrator would describe what color of they had pulled. What is this? Trailers. We ran for major teaser trailers over the course of the game's development, each meant to convey something about the spirit of the game. This is the first one I released in May 2012. It features a series of broken rooms, the voice of the narrator informing viewers that he is preparing a new version of the Stanley Parable. Okay. They tell you the secrets so you don't try to find the real secrets. That's a stupid trailer. Sorry. Sorry, narrator. Oh wait, this. What is this? Countdown desk. One of the desks from an early version of the countdown ending. Okay. What is this? Motion room elevator. Exit. Like my desk instead of, hey Stream Dad, how are you doing? Everything well? Can I get a shout out for Stream Dad, please? That would be awesome. Okay. Stanley's office. From the left to right, the evolution of Stanley's office. The first was created in 2011, the second 2012, and the third in 2013. Okay, I like it. This is great. I still don't really trust it, but it's great, kind of. What is this? Let's go to the exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Ok, Madora, tem uma noite excelente e opá, conta aí como é que as coisas evoluem. Beijinho grande, pá. Oi, Cota do Bigode, tá tudo bem? Espero que esteja tudo bem contigo. I mean, I can't really go anywhere else, I think. Right? Those are the credits. This is the other side. There's a cake. What is this? Narrator outtakes. Kevin Bright.
The number 4.
Okay. Kevin Brighting, the voice of the narrator, recorded dialogue for the entire game roughly 3 separate times over the 2 years of development. These are clips from early takes that were not used in the final game. Ok, vai dando notícias, beijinhos.
Now look closely, Stanley. See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Stanley's a good example of poor-level design, textbook mistake. It's the kind of thing you pick up on intuitively if you had even the most fundamental understanding of good and bad game design. But of course, you being you, you'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. Here, I'm just going to make this easier. They're throwing a surprise party for him for all his button pushing. Does that sound
Button pushing? A surprise party for all his button pushing? That is amazing. I love that. Down that hallway was Half-Life 3 release. Okay, let's just go. Let's just do the thing. Freedom ending. This was the very first incarnation of freedom ending in the game's alpha. Oh. Okay. Why? Can't do anything here? No. I already tried this. Let's go, I guess. What? I was like, are you not letting me? Hi. Are we switching this? Are we switching this? Thank you for
Can
that
you
follow,
see?
Rainbow
Can you
Warrior.
see how much they need one another?
Who? The
No,
narrator and Stanley?
Perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Mm-hmm.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail.
How?
Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now. It'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Avi-chan, isto é Stanley Parable. Okay. I didn't want to do what narrator 2 told me because I don't trust any of them. Is that it? Do I wait? Do I restart?
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Thank you, Jern TC. Thank you so much for the host. Why do you always break things? Okay, well. Let's try again. Is never the end. The end is never the end. Okay, let's go.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. What a room, Stanley thought to himself. What a room, what a room, what a room. This is what Stanley thought. What a room.
What a room.
What a room, what a room.
What a room.
What a room.
What a
Va-va-voom.
Va-va-voom.
What a room.
What a room. What a room. What a room.
Yes,
Yeah,
really, really worth it being here in the room.
Obrigada, Gia.
A room
Tá tudo
so
bem contigo,
utterly
Gia?
captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously
morcega.
vanished,
I still vibes. Ai,
here you
aquelas
sit looking at
family
these
cão, tudo
chairs
bem.
and some paintings. Really worth it.
I'm trying to sleep now. Have a wonderful night, Bazzy. Have a wonderful night. Can I get a shout out for GR NTC?
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
You think so?
It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Por que razão? A razão é para trollar pessoas. Por que achas? Okay. Let's just
But
go.
at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took
The
the first
amazing
open door on his
room!
left to get back to business.
I want to go to the mind control. It was this way, right? If I remember correctly.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
What? It was
Look,
5 years
Stanley,
ago?
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Okay.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've
fired
been
years ago.
neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me.
Hey Byron, how are you doing? Am I
I'm
doing well?
asking for her.
Yeah, what the hell? Nobody cares about.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Oh, this is not the ending that I was looking. This is not the one. Okay. Oh, what? Where? What? Where? Hello?
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere.
What?
Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
Excuse you? What the fuck? What? I'm so confused.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, I'll enter
This was not the
one.
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yes, because it's so amazing.
It was okay.
It was okay! The room was okay. Oh, I mean, okay.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either.
Okay, let's
Feeling
go.
a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might find coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yeah, my boss's office. Let's go. What was it called?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an
845?
indication of any human life. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
Exactly.
That
Shut
kind
the
of
fuck
anxiety
up.
isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
You asshole! You asshole! No! Oh! Fuck you, dude! Fuck you!
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated,
Yeah.
Stanley calmly walked forward into the open
Taka, are you doing
passageway.
everything well? Oh, but you love this song. Oh, dude. Fucking. I look back to Dubai. Não sei. É uma questão de tu descobrires qual é o objetivo
Stanley
desse.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read
Yes.
Mind Control Facility.
Let's see what happens here.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What
Okay.
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Let's go. Let's go to the mind control. Okay. Ooh.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers.
Normally we are up
The
there.
lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley,
Hi,
one of
Drill,
them,
how are you doing? Everything
eternally
well?
monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Freedom meant nothing.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Let's go.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
I like it. What is
But
this?
here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with
Offline.
emotions.
Okay.
Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
I like
And
it.
as the cold reality of his past began to sink in,
Ai, sì, tu
Stanley
sei
decided
amico.
that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For
What?
he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Wait, am I going to? Is this the big thing? But it's offline though. What do you mean? What is that up there? Let's go up there. Oh, there's so many things. Tudo bem, Cito? Espero que esteja tudo bem contigo. Beijinhos. Four? What does that mean? Four. I clicked it. I'm just like my dad. He also clicks anything. He sees a red button, he will click it. This has a story, by the way. What I just said. 5. Let's click it. Warrior, obrigada por dar aí os sabocitos. Muito obrigada. Mind controls idle, awaiting input. System bar.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place
But
and
it's
to
offline.
everything it stood for.
Wait, what? What is with the big red button though? Okay, listen. What is with this red button? Oh, it doesn't do anything. Okay. Okay. Let's turn it on. Because should we turn it on? On or off? Guys, on or off, on or off, on or off, on or off. Should we just turn it on? On or off? I mean, it is already off! It's idle. On? On? No? Yeah, I'm up for on.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the
Press
controls,
no.
did you?
I did.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Loading mind control systems. That's amazing.
Stanley,
Yes.
I applaud your effort, I really do.
Stanley
but you need
Parable.
to understand, there's only so
Titolo.
much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave.
I didn't
If you want to
though.
throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going,
Wait.
what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
Re-enter passcode? What
These
is
are
the
precious
passcode,
additional
though?
seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
Is
Oh
a
dear
rule
me, what's the
for
matter, Stanley?
2
Is it that you
attempts
have no
remaining?
idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right
I don't
now?
know what the
Or did you just
passcode is.
assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off?
What is the
I mean, look
passcode?
at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen,
2?
clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley,
Crazy, dude.
you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler
It's
for
like
you.
the
That
ultimate
timer isn't a
ending.
catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble.
What is the passcode, though?
This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy.
I don't get it.
You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first,
Goodbye,
so
employee
you can't.
427. Okay.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until
Is
a
it
big boom and then
427?
nothing. No ending here. Just
I don't
you
have a
being
7
blown
though.
to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life?
What is
Or will you
this,
let it
though?
go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't.
disabled.
It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
I don't know what the passcode was. The end is never the end. I know. Huh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meet. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. I mean, I think we had a few endings actually. I don't want to see all of the endings, but that was very interesting. I really love that. That was awesome. That was really good. Look at that, by the way. That was really good. I like that. That was a lot of fun. Good game, dude.